Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Awesome. Naya, I hope you are great. I know we've overflogged this topic so much, and each day we wake up every day too to different videos coming up from these people. Number one is that I don't know who hurts white people or white women. All of them. They feel hurts. But I cannot heal them. They will have to heal themselves. Because I don't know the kind of heart you have that will make you not want other people to eat. Sincerely speaking, the fact that all of them are pointing accusing fingers at my people tells you how ignorant some people are too. Because you cannot be pointing fingers at people that are innocent and thinking that you will have peace. Also, one of the reasons why you do not have peace is because you are a wicked person. God doesn't like ugly. Some of you look, but you are ugly, and God hates ugly. On a serious note, no jokes. Today is Sunday. I am sure majority of you will be in church screaming and shouting when your neighbor is suffering. You would rather feed your dogs, your cats, and your goats instead of feeding human beings. That is how bad, how deteriorated some people's hearts are. And you want me, and you telling me that your life will be great. Say no more. Let's get into this video.
Everybody's out here screaming like, oh my God, SNAP is ending and kids are going to go hungry. But the truth is, every single one of you has misguided anger. This is going to be a controversial take. So before you come into my comments and rage, just know that I was a food stamp kid and we faced some really shady times in those early years. But my mother would have sold her soul to make sure that we had food to eat. If you're in a position where the government can completely remove your ability to provide food for yourself, you're too reliant on the government. That is nobody's fault but your own. The second book of Thessalonians tells us that if you don't work, you don't eat. So when you're out here with your bleeding heart, crying over all these kids that are potentially going to go hungry, who should you really be mad at? You can scream Orange Man bad all you want, but the truth is that it's the Democrat socialists that are to blame, and not even the ones that are in office right now. First, they convinced you that they were coming to rescue the needy with the New Deal and the Great Society, both of which were Democrat initiatives. And Obama came in and massively overextended the program to get everybody hooked on the system. And now the government who promised to feed you is the same government who has the power to starve you. You want to be mad at somebody? Fine. Be mad at the parents who aren't willing to provide for their own children. Be mad at the people who believed the lie that total government reliance was a fail-safe plan. Be mad at the Democrats for proving to you once again that socialism doesn't work. Or be glad that they gave you this modern day example of how socialism never works. And then remember that when you go to the voting booth. Everybody's out here screaming like, oh my God, SNAP is ending and kids are going to go hungry. But the truth is, every single one of you has misguided anger. This is going to be a controversial take. So before you come into my comments and rage, just know that I was a food stamp kid and we faced some really shady times in those early years. But my mother would have sold her soul to make sure that we had food to eat. If you're in a position where the government can completely remove your ability to provide food for yourself, you're too reliant on the government. That is nobody's fault but your own. The second book of Thessalonians tells us.
Let me ask you something. When you were on food stamps, why did your parents have so many kids that they couldn't afford them? Why were your parents so reliant on the government? Why didn't they go out and get jobs? Was that because you weren't like everybody else on food stamps? Was it because you were special? Your family was just going through a rough patch, and you were better than all these other people on food stamps. You know, the way you talk, you sound like someone who would pull the ladder away from a burning building after you had escaped. Never mind the fact that there are still people trapped inside. And of all the books of the Bible you had to read, you picked 2 Thessalonians. Why not Isaiah 58:7 or Matthew 25? You know that one, don't you? Clothe the poor and feed the hungry. The way it sounds to me, it sounds like you're using the Bible to find excuses for not acting like a Christian. That gives you the reason you want for not going out and feeding the hungry. That's why you're reading from the book of fuck you, go get a job. Just like Jesus would have done. Were you not aware that the majority of people on SNAP do have jobs? For most of those people, there is only a 3-month limit with which they have access to EBT and SNAP. And I'm also guessing you didn't know that 58% of the people on SNAP are either under the age of 18, like you were, or elderly or disabled. What was that verse in the Bible again that says, fuck the children, old and disabled? Maybe you could point that out to me. Well, anyway, this has been Doc for Diesel Punk Industries. Thanks for watching, and as always, crunchy white pimp.
If you're in a position where the government can completely remove your ability to...
You have to be talking about the elderly. You gotta be. You have to be talking about the elderly. You have to be. You know, the elderly get food stamps too, right? Not those welfare queens you keep popping up in your head. The elderly. You know who else gets SNAP benefits? The disabled. And those who care for the disabled. Like myself. Now, do I get SNAP benefits? No. But I do take care of a disabled person. Did you think about that? Did that occur to you? Probably not. You see, I get it. I get it. You even used a Bible verse. 1 Thessalonians or some shit like that. I'm an atheist, so I really don't care. But, that obviously means you're a Christian. What is the root word of Christian? Christ. What does Christ mean? Are you not talking about Jesus? You know, the one that fed the hungry, stood with the sick, the infirm, hung out with people who had the less of. Flipped the money table, flipped the money changer tables over in the temple. That guy, Jesus, remember him? Since you brought up a Bible verse, then you must know this. But I don't think you're a Christian. No, I think you're a Pharisee. I do. I think you're a Pharisee. I think you are the sort of person that if Jesus were to walk the earth today, you would have him deported because he looks like a brown Mexican or an illegal, as you like to call him. You are disgusting in word and deed. And here's a little secret from an atheist. If I'm wrong and you're right, when you die, you have a one-way ticket to hell. You did not look after the sick, the poor, and the infirm. No, you worried about your tax dollars, even though you don't say nothing about billionaires getting yachts with the other yachts in it with our tax dollars, but I digress. So I will say this to you, and I really want you to look at me. You're a Pharisee. And if I'm wrong and you're right, you're going to hell. Inasmuch as you have done unto the least of these, my brother, you have done unto me. You betrayed Jesus.
Everybody's out here screaming like, oh my God, SNAP is ending and kids are going to go hungry. But the truth is,
It's 5 o'clock in the morning. This lady has not allowed me to roll out of bed. But I had to take 5 seconds of my time to make this video. And to let her know, shut the fuck up. I am sick and tired of people like you trying to justify your stupidity. So let's get some statistics out the way. 80% of people that are on SNAP are people that look like you. White people. So let's get that out the way. Second of all, my mother would have sold her soul to put food on the table, but you was raised in the system. It's okay for you to be raised in the system, but not allow other people to benefit from the system? My mother worked 2 jobs to put her children through college, and still it was not enough to put food on the table. And she too benefited from the system. So we can eat. Basic human rights. And that's the difference between Republicans and Democrats. We have a sense of morality and humanity. You people are heartless and disgusting. Nobody should go hungry. That is a basic human right. Nobody should be homeless. That is a basic human right. Those that receive tax cuts get more money than those who are on the system. But you okay to give those rich 1%ers a tax cut, a piece of the pie, but you not okay for those who need a little bit of help to eat? Are you fucking crazy, lady? You are delusional. How fucking dare you make this an issue? This has nothing to do with people depending on the system and not pulling themselves off their bootstraps, lady. But everything to do with a failed system that does not allow people the opportunity to obtain an education, to obtain the jobs, to stay off the system. People like you and look like you broke the system, don't want to fix the system, and then want to criticize the system for helping those that need it. So shut up. Shut up. You're an ass. You are a pitiful human being. You have no sense of morality and no sense of humanity. Nobody should go hungry. Nobody. Oh, you need to blame the Democrats because they gave you the illusion. No, we blame the Republicans because you take away these subsidized programs. Do not give an opportunity to those to pull themselves off the bootstraps, but give the benefits to the 1% and tax cut to the rich that do not need it. More money goes into tax cut than benefiting those services that these people need. Do your fucking homework before you act stupid on this internet. Please have the most painful day you deserve. And just
When I talk about having experience being on the system and using it as a step.
You really shouldn't have tagged me in the comments of this video. Here we go. You get it then. The system is a stepping stone. And yes, there are people in this day and age who are that reliant on the government because of the fact that the system created the stepping stone and everything around the system has grown except the system. Did you know that we're one of the lower federal wage companies within the world? I know a random fact for you, but follow me on this one. The cost of living has gone up, but the federal wage has remained the same. So the system has been relying on it, right? Follow me. When you put people in a position in which they cannot afford to live by keeping the federal wage minimum low, you are then putting people in a position to have to use supplemental services in order to be able to survive. A stepping stone. And since we have not advanced with our federal wages as every other nation around us has, don't you think that it's problematic and that the government should do all they can for their people? You know, provide that stepping stone? Like, I'm not knocking you or your family. Congratulations on the fact that your family was able to figure it out and get out in a way that was beneficial for you to grow up. But the federal spending that was made while you and I were growing up that allowed our parents to be able to do what they did, such as my mom having to work 2 jobs and become an LPN to be able to afford bills with my dad, you know? Those programs aren't around as much anymore due to continuous cuts within the federal spending. And so when you remove those federal spending cuts and you remove people's ways of being able to get out of the system, you then no longer have a stepping stone, but a stumbling block. And the government shutting down is just another form of the stumbling block becoming more unsteady for people. But no, you know, it was one of those ridiculous takes that you wanted to hear, so sorry I didn't make the cut either for you.
Everybody's out here screaming like, oh my God, SNAP is ending and kids are going to go hungry. But the truth is,
It's 5 o'clock in the morning. This lady has not allowed me to roll out of bed. But I had to take 5 seconds of my time to make this video. And to let her know, shut the fuck up. I am sick and tired of people like you trying to justify your stupidity. So let's get some statistics out the way. 80% of people that are on SNAP are people that look like you. White people. So let's get that out the way. Second of all, my mother would have sold her soul to put food on the table, but you was raised in the system. It's okay for you to be raised in the system, but not allow other people to benefit from the system? My mother worked two jobs to put her children through college, and still it was not enough to put food on the table. And she too benefited from the system. So we can eat. Basic human rights. And that's the difference between Republicans and Democrats. We have a sense of morality and humanity. You people are heartless and disgusting. Nobody should go hungry. That is a basic human right. Nobody should be homeless. That is a basic human right. Those that receive tax cuts get more money than those who are on the system. But you okay to give those rich 1%ers a tax cut, a piece of the pie, but you not okay for those who need a little bit of help to eat? Are you fucking crazy, lady? You are delusional. How fucking dare you make this an issue? This has nothing to do with people depending on the system and not pulling themselves off their bootstraps, lady. But everything to do with a failed system that does not allow people the opportunity to obtain an education, to obtain the jobs, to stay off the system. People like you and look like you broke the system, don't want to fix the system, and then want to criticize the system for helping those that need it. So shut up. Shut up. You're an ass. You are a pitiful human being. You have no sense of morality and no sense of humanity. Nobody should go hungry. Nobody. Oh, you need to blame the Democrats because they gave you the illusion. No, we blame the Republicans because you take away these subsidized programs, do not give an opportunity to those to pull themselves off the bootstraps, but give the benefits to the 1% and tax cut to the rich that do not need it. More money goes into tax cut than benefiting those services that these people need. Do your fucking homework before you act stupid on this internet. Please have the most painful day you deserve. And just
If you're in a position where the government can completely remove your ability to provide food for yourself, you're too reliant on the government. Today is the day that the 42 million SNAP recipients are apparently not going to get paid their benefits. And that video that I just stitched is going absolutely insane on social media. So let's get into some of the stupidest takes I've seen to date.
When you were on food stamps, why did your parents have so many kids that they couldn't afford them? Why were your parents so reliant on the government? Why didn't they go out and get jobs?
Timu Glenn Beck, good to meet you. My parents were married for 20 years, and together they had 7 children. And eventually my dad became abusive, and so when my mom finally got the courage to leave him, she still had 6 kids at home to take care of. She had no college education, and she had not been working outside of the house because she was a farm wife prior to this. So when we left my dad, my mom worked multiple jobs all the time while also going to college. And then eventually she was able to get just one job that could actually pay all of our bills, and we didn't need government assistance anymore. So yeah, when I talk about having experience being on the system and using it as a stepping stone instead of a lifestyle, I know what I'm talking about.
more people that are on SNAP are people that look like you or white Americans.
So interesting that the first thing you do is make it about race, yet conservatives are supposedly the racist ones. Newsflash, I don't care what color the people are that are abusing the SNAP program. I'll call out all of them equally, including the white ones.
My mom worked 2 jobs. She's a boomer. She wasn't offered the benefits of going to college, so she had to take 2 minimum wage jobs.
It's so funny that you mentioned that your mom didn't have the luxury of going to college, because did you know that between 80 and 90% of the people who qualify for SNAP benefits also qualify for Pell Grants at the very least, if not free tuition altogether?
I really believe that those that should be allowed to vote should have higher education, not people like you.
Well, we just established that everybody who's eligible for SNAP is also eligible to pursue a higher education. But here's a fun fact about me. I don't even have a college degree, and I've miraculously never had to rely on government assistance in my adult life. So contrary to all of the popular claims, it is possible to have a job with a livable wage without going to college.
Food is a basic human right. Shelter is a basic human right.
It is a basic human right that you are free to provide for yourself. It is not a basic human obligation that I provide it for anyone other than my own family.
It's surprising to me that I still have to keep informing 500-year-old women.
Honey, if I'm 500, you must be like 6,000.
The only way you could be exempt from working is through a medical reason. Med 1 form, Med 1 dependent form.
$20 that says that chick's got a disability that prevents her from working. That's why she knows the numbers of those forms. But to address her point, nowhere in my video did I ever say that people who are truly disabled should not be able to take advantage of this program. The problem is that far too many people who are able-bodied are taking advantage of this program, and it's depleting all of the benefits for the people who truly need it. Trust me, I have firsthand knowledge of just how abused the disability system is because I was a paralegal for 9 years, and I cannot tell you the number of people that came to us wanting us to help them get approved for Social Security disability when they were completely able to work. They just didn't fucking want to.
You foul God's name every time you put it in your mouth.
I foul his name by repeating the scripture, because the whole point of that passage is that people had gotten lazy and were refusing to work. Now, some people are saying it's because they thought that Christ was returning, but it's not up for us to determine when Christ is returning. We need to live every day assuming that he's returning, but we also need to live every day knowing that there's no way that we can know that, which means we need to get up and go to fucking work.
They're not lazy. They're exploited. They're exploited by corporations that lobby our Congress to promote politicians that keep our wages low and count on conservative voters to cheer them on while they try to figure out how to pay rent.
Cool still shot, by the way. But I didn't call them lazy. You did. Saying that somebody is too reliant on the government is not calling them lazy. It's saying that they've made the poor decision to invest all of their livelihood into an entity that they don't have any control over, which is never a wise decision, because if you don't have any control, that means you don't have any control with the decision to take it away. Also didn't praise any politicians. You did. But if you want to talk about politicians, we can. Because the Democrats decided to use the filibuster, it's going to take 60 votes to reopen the government, and there are only 51 Republicans in the Senate, which means at least 9 Democrats are going to have to get on board and vote with this to make it reopen. On top of that, throughout this shutdown, Republicans have proposed several bills that would have kept the SNAP program funded, and the Democrats have voted against it every single time. So just like I said in my original video, if you want to be mad at somebody, go ahead and be mad at the Democrat Socialists. You know, the Democrat Socialists who are right now starving 42 million of their own citizens because they think it's more important to raise LGBTQ awareness globally with their taxpayers' dollars. And let's not forget that SNAP literally stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's meant to be a supplement. It's not meant to pay all of your bills. There are people in this country who actually do need public assistance, and I don't have any problem paying for it for those that do. But it's not 42 million people, and we're never going to be able to help the ones that truly need it if we continue to make excuses for the ones that are wildly exploiting this. I gave you this modern day example of how socialism never works. And then remember that when you go to the...
Here we go. You have a lot of ignorance and diatribe that you have displayed in that video. But I'll start from the beginning and work my way backwards towards the point that I actually started this stitch on. In the beginning, you started to talk about how everyone who is complaining about the food stamps not being available starting today has misguided anger. Question for the class. If the government is shut down due to the Republicans wanting to get rid of the ability for people to be able to provide food for their families, and the Democrats are trying to prevent that from happening, as well as make sure that nobody else's insurance premiums go up, how is that a bad thing? you go to explain how that's a bad thing because it's saying that you're too reliant on the government and the government doesn't need to support you. I've made a video about this sentiment a long time ago, but I feel like I need to dot the I and cross the T here. Dumbass, the government is made exactly for you. The idea of government, even by its own definition, is a representation of the people. It is stated government is governing of a nation, state, or community. And guess what you are a part of? Your nation, your state, and your community. And again, the way our government is supposed to run a republic democracy is supposed to be a representation of the people. And if the people are telling you, hey, this way that this government is being run is actually harming all of us, then why are you so staunchly against it? Oh, because you believe everyone should pull themselves up by the bootstrap and the government should have no insight on how they do it themselves. But the crazy part is the government has the biggest impact on that, on how jobs are created and sustained within America. So if there are no jobs that are created or being sustained in America by the government, then it's the government's job to ensure that its nation can eat at the bare necessity. Especially considering that the UN, the United Nations, a governing body of all nations in which we are trying to strive for global peace, has decided that an unalienable right, sort of like our Constitution has, is that people have an unalienable right of insurance, food, and shelter. And we're the only nation to distance ourselves from that. I mean, you even had the audacity to bring the Bible into it. 2 Thessalonians. Congratulations, you dug deep into that New Testament. Too bad you dug right past the book of Matthew. The book of Matthew that states, when I was hungry, you have fed me. When I was clothed, you have dressed me. When I needed shelter, you have provided it for me. When he saw that doing good works towards your community was beneficial. But I know you like to cherry pick the portions of the Bible that support your selfish idealisms and ignorance of fascism. Because why not? Why not cherry pick the parts of Christianity that supports horrendous behavior, rather than the idea of Christianity which supports love and caring? But I'll end it like you did. Socialism.
This is all I got from this video. I really do not know who hurt these people recently, but so far, all I can say is that they are always hurt. Because if you are not hurt, tell me how you come out online every day with so much hatred. Because so far, I am not seeing anything great coming out from them. The fact that majority of them are pushing their mindset, their narrative is pushing towards people that look like me, like we are the ones, or my people are the ones benefiting. But man, I cannot say this enough, but still, they come out here every day with so much hurt in their hearts. Whoever that hurt them should go help heal them, or let them heal themselves, because this world is already bad and doesn't need a lot of so much negativities going around. And they wake up every day spreading it like wildfire. See, if you are struggling, I want you to know that you did not kill anybody. Struggle is part of life. Some days it is good, some days it is very bad. There are some months I ask myself what is going on. And I am sure every other person, as a human being, we all experience this as humans. There are some months that expenses just keeps pumping up. There are some people that their salary is not good enough. They are just living from hand to mouth. They are not privileged. So if you are privileged, put that your privilege into your pocket, because I don't even know how much you are paying in tax that is making you come out here to pure rubbish. Go and see. The worst part is that these people are not even blaming the government on the money they push out to people that are not even US American citizens, right? That is not even going towards people's food, shelter, and all that. It is going into something that is not nice. You are not looking for a way to call checkmate the capitalism that is all over. You are not calling on the rich people that has taken all the weight, because if the rich people decided that, okay, today, let's bring out how many billion naira or how many million naira, spread it across so people can benefit from it and all that. You are not calling the people that are taking all the money and the ones that are not even paying taxes. It is the poor people that are looking for a way to make their life easier and better that you continuously calling up or telling rubbish. See, may you be healed. Yes, may your heart be healed. May you find peace, because so far you do not have peace. And no peace for the wicked, because you are wicked. So when you are wicked, you also will not find peace. You will be going around looking for people that you are doing better of. Heaven, please, may I not have this kind of heart. Seeing people that I am better of, and I am looking for a way to make their life bad or harder. I am just a wicked person. I will be a bad person, a horrible person. No human being deserves to have that kind of adrenaline. On a serious note. And then today is Sunday. Some of you will enter church and say, we worship you. Who are you worshiping? Shut up, because you don't know Christ. You are not Christ-like. You are a wicked soul. And all wicked soul will perish. It's in the Bible. The Bible tells you not to be wicked. Be kind to your neighbor. Be good to people. But it's otherwise. You know, food. The day I will reject people food, especially people that are struggling. They are not criminals. They are not bad people. They are not people that are. May I not be that kind of human being. I will draw the curtain here. Bye for now.